Sorry if my mic quality is horrible. I am recording straight into the computer. I'm also recording out of the car. What is the meaning of DanDaDan? The Japanese can make a story about anything, literally anything. They can find something random and just make it interesting. It's amazing. From wild tales of people born as weapons, titans, otherworldly spirit tamer, psycho police, flip the definition of a ghoul, and this.
Yes, a chimera that understands human speech. That person, Edward. That person, Edward. That person, Edward. That person, Edward. Big brother Ed.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. To an endless genre of magical girls, and if you're like 12 and you see like this gif I got going on in the background of Magic Madoka, don't watch it. If you don't, you're not prepared for it. Listen, it's psychologically damaging. It's way worse than Nina. Just don't watch it, okay? To stories filled with so much serenity, such as Garden of Words, Howl's Moving Castle, Michiko and Hachin, Sunny Boy, and an endless list of much, so much more. Anime and manga has went from something that is silently praised to a juggernaut of media, but still somewhat of a refined taste and placed under a cultural view lens which does not hide its obscurity and its honesty it wishes to portray. So those not cultured enough wouldn't get some of the nuances of some of the niches and wild ideas that the Japanese wish to display. I know I sounded like a weeb, but there's some truth in that. Okay, don't judge me too much. There is truth in what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's just get back to the idea of what DanDaDan is. Okay, let's just jump into what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, I went off track. I got emotional. Today we'll be discussing the mind-boggling, awkwardly fantastical newcomer who has taken the world by storm. Today we'll be talking about no other than DanDaDan. But wait. This isn't a video essay to praise the magnificent, weird, attention-grabbing series about a psychic girl, her baddie Mima, I'm sorry, that part made me laugh. I'm gonna keep this in. An old ghost lady turned into a cat doll, and an alien nerd missing his family jewels. Nah, this is questioning the title. What is a? What's DanDaDan? Before I jump into the meats and potatoes of this video, let's give the creators their flower as a thank you for being crazy enough to give their life to drawing, planning out, and believing in such a skeptical marvel of an idea they're creating and putting their heart and soul into. Something I also aspire to as well. The creator, Yukinobu Tetsu, is famously known for working alongside the guy who believes he can levitate. Fujimoto, creator of Goodbye Eri, one of my favorite series, Look Back, Fire Punch, also one of my favorite series, and Chainsaw Man. And he wasn't even a rookie, he was just helping out Fujimoto as an assistant for the start of Shonen Jump's Manga Plus. I mean, he just had to make a name for himself. He already had things underneath his belt, such as Fireball and I believe found Seiji no Rakugo. Dang, I nailed it. Fujimoto also claimed him as his best friend and rival, and not knowing how he would continue creating if he did not have him by his side. This is a small but important piece of information because, well, if you're not aware of the chopping block, execution style, creative mania powerhouse that is Shonen Jump, skill alone will not allow you to sit amongst the greatest. Even having your name mentioned and somewhat of a relevancy equating to the achievement of the association to Shonen Jump is a great show of potential itself. And with that being said, let's begin, shall we? What is the meaning of DanDaDan? The meaning of the word DanDaDan can arrive from the Buddhist teaching of Danda, which I do think the story will and already has taken from, but has sprinkled that in with many other fantastical elements. The best thing about DanDaDan is its writing, how versatile it can be. It's not set in stone to be one specific thing, so it can be anything it wants. The question of what DanDaDan is in relation to this video isn't providing what DanDaDan will finalize itself in being, but what lies in its potential. And if the author does write anything mentioned in this video or doesn't, don't go crying over spilled milk. Like honestly, like some of y'all like be complaining on the internet about random stuff. Don't go be crying if you don't do anything that's mentioned in this video for real. Crazy ideas, okay? And my man's, you know, the guy who made DanDaDan didn't even have any ideas to write about. So he just went up to his editor and the editor was like, yo bro, just write whatever. And I honestly think It literally is just whatever. I think whatever is the plot. It's possible that it could be actually that simple. It's about whatever. The whatever. Literally, the word whatever. The nothing. The everything. The yin. The yang. And if my theory or idea about what the story is actually about, like the yin and yang, the nothing, the everything, the whatever of life, that would be such a beautiful thing to shape the story and the idea of being alive around, which I think the story might pertain to. The word danda is used in Sanskrit texts. Now, and I could be wrong about this, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. Something derivative from Buddhism and Hinduism teaching. I did a little research. I'll put the image up where I did my little research of, just to try to prove myself credible. And I'll also go ahead and read a little bit of what I wrote down. I don't got it in front of me right now, so like I said, don't judge my reading, okay? But here I go. In Hinduism, danda represents various concepts, including punishment, authority, and combat. It is something moral disciplines, divine authority, and is often depicted as a staff held by significant figures, highlighted in the role of governance and spiritual practice. Raised by Dr. Seuss, hooked on phonics, PBS Kids, Pop Tropica, anything that involves reading, I aced it, baby. Scholastic I ain't News, that stupid. Leapfrog! I'm sorry, this is supposed to be a serious actual video. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Dan in Japanese can translate to step or degree, and da in Japanese can mean is or are. The da marks nouns as an adjective as positive. Put the thing right here. I'm messing up. I'm sorry. My grammar's horrible. I'm sorry. I lied. Just look at the Count of Saint Germain. Man's out here acting like a Castlevania main villain. But the reason I bring up the fact about that, translation, the definition of the word Dan and Da all together, DanDaDan, it makes me think that him and Ken represent the Dan in DanDaDan. I stuttered, I'm sorry. But DanDaDan, which is like godlike power that is used. It influence in the idea of just the way, like they interacting in the story. I think it's going to be him versus Ken type of scenario. A true-hearted hero versus somebody with madness and chaos and destruction, and a god's superiority over divine punishment. I think even if the author honestly is just making stuff up, he has the ability to take a lot of the ideas of what he's just coming up with and implement it into a cohesive story. And when I originally searched this up, I did as any usual individual would normally do. I Googled it, and it gave me such a cool concept and original thing when I searched it up. And then every other note afterwards that I saw was just wasn't as raw. The Tale of the End. How epic does that sound? It sounds so cool. I'd also like to mention from my notes, danda is a staff that symbolizes reunification and symbolizes authority and power. And finally, I like to go into this. Now, almost every biblical text, any biblical text that you pick up talks about an apocalyptic ending. As a Christian, we have the rapture when Jesus comes back. Norse mythology has Ragnarok. I don't know if some people believe in Lovecraftian and stuff, but they got whatever Cthulhu is. We all have one thing in common. We all believe in the end. Life will have an ending. We will have an ending. The world will have an ending. The ending is inevitable. And relating that back to the title, what I think DanDaDan truly means in the story, the idea of DanDaDan isn't just a title to me. I think it has the potential to challenge many things: tradition, life, just human experience itself. It challenges us as readers, as humans, to look at our own struggles in our own lives and say, despite anything, I'll try to be better. I'll do the right thing. Whatever people say, whatever people may think, or whatever I think of myself, or any other thing, in that aspect of you as an individual, just look at the characters. Just look at the characters themselves. They're complete contradictions of themselves. And that just is a judgmental idea of, categorizing people in places and ideas of certain characteristics of other individuals, which they might look into themselves or what others might think of themselves, all together. But at the same time, these characters are saying no to the status quo. They're saying no. I'm not gonna, even if I am what you think I am, even if I am what I think I am or what you think I am, or what I'm trying to say, I'm kind of yapping, but they're saying I'll become better, I'll do better, I'll be something different because I want to be, because I want to strive for that, because I want growth, because I want the potential to achieve. The last thing I kind of want to say as a wrap up is I think the void and enlightenment is going to be something that is very pivotal in the story of DanDaDan, and I don't know what's telling me this, or what I can necessarily draw from that is like making me speculate this thing. But at least with the recent chapters, with no spoilers. You know what? Spoiler, just real quick spoiler. 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. With like the stuff that with Saint Germain like hiding his identity. Like the recent fight with Ken and Kenny, or I forgot the other Kenta fighting the bully boy and everything like that. I just feel the Saint isn't the final villain, but a central figure leading up to something super serious that's gonna have a real deep dive into whatever the story truly will be. And my final idea is, I know this also might sound a little corny, but taking enlightenment into the play of the void or the darkness, the evilness, the unknown, inside the story. You also, especially with the random, wacky, crazy ideas that like just comes up out of random, and especially with recently Ken losing his powers, I feel like Ken is gonna have another power. He's no longer gonna have the turbo granny power, or he might have that implemented with his new power. I think he might get a new power, and I think his new power might be something like purity. I don't know how you would like implement that in the story, but we got a something like 7 deadly sins. The kid got hope power. It's basically plot armor power. But I really think however you want to spin it, you could use purity as something that could be used. All right, now I'm pretty much done. That's all I gotta say about like what I truly think the idea of DanDaDan is. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. I truly would love it and appreciate it. I tried really hard on my Van Gogh video. I didn't think it was amazing. I wish I could have did more, but I don't have that much space on my computer. I'm using like a really old computer, but it sucks. But I'm making do with what I got, okay? And I got flagged for it. Well, they didn't take down the video, but they copyrighted. They didn't flag me, which I appreciate, Jiffy. If the other person, whoever owns that music.
It's not Sunflower music. It's called Who's Theme, you dummy.
Samurai Champloo, which is an amazing anime. Go watch it. It's called Samurai Champloo, spelled CHALAMPOO. I think. I don't know. I can't spell. I'm not that good. But if you've never seen it, go watch it. And I also say I'm gonna add my own beat because I do make music as well. I do a lot of creative stuff like that. I told you, with this channel, I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with my creativity because I have so much creativity. But I'm gonna use my own beat, and hopefully, someone doesn't try to claim that because I made it myself. But thank you if you did watch. I hope that you all like appreciate what I do. I am trying to really put my heart and soul into this type of stuff that I want to do because I really want to do it. Because I love anime, I love manga, I love artsy stuff, I love being creative. I just like making things. I like doing stuff, and I feel like this is a really good outlet for me to create and make stuff because I don't really have that many outlets to actually like put myself out there and interact with people. And for me, it's not about like growing and being successful. It is about being kind of successful, but it's not about making a legacy. It's just about having fun to me. I just want to have fun, and I want to be motivated to keep having the fun that I'm having. So if you like, and I'm sorry I'm yapping, but if you like what I did, please support me, like, subscribe, share with a friend. You don't even gotta subscribe. A view would do for me, but if you would subscribe, I would love it. Thank you. See you all later. Deuces. Hug somebody, tell them you love them, and peace out. Bye.